Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Biology with Inshra, and in today's video we are going to be discussing AS level 9700 cells part 3. Now this is the final part on your cells, in which we're going to discuss finishing about all the different organelles, and then in the next video we're going to start microscopy, which comes in your paper 1, paper 2 as well as your paper 3, mostly in paper 3, but it will come in paper 1 and 2 as well. Okay, so this is the final part in which we're going to discuss the last organelles that were left out, and we're going to finish it off by the end of the video, and then you can I'll make videos on microscopy, which will be on your light microscope and on your electron microscope, and some calculations will be there, and some scales about the Reticule and all that stuff. But don't worry, I'm going to cover all of that up. And I'm also going to be making videos on IGCSE and O levels as well, so stay tuned if you are a student of biology, O levels or IGCSE, as I know all three of them, right? O levels, IGCSE, AS, and well, A levels, yeah, and A2. Without further ado, let us get started. Okay, so in the previous videos we discussed about the organelles found in both an animal cell and a plant cell, right? The organelles that are found in both these cells. And now we know the plant cells have a few extra organelles that are absent in an animal cell. So we're going to discuss about those organelles, their structure, their function, and I have some diagrams to help you with that. And let's first understand the basics. So, plant cells have a regular shape and are a lot bigger than an animal cell. You need to remember these points. They may come in the MCQ. Plant cells are bigger than animal cells and they have a regular shape. Now they're rectangular, as you may have seen. You may look it up on Google. If not, I'm going to show you in a minute. And animal cells are circular. They do not have a regular shape. They have an irregular shape. They are more regular, as I just said, and have a few extra organelles that are absent in an animal cell. Remember though, plant cells do not contain centrioles, and these organelles, these centrioles, are only found in an animal cell. Now there is one difference. Well, there are many differences, but in terms of the fact that an organelle that is not found in a plant cell but found in an animal cell, and that is your centriole that helps in cell division. We discussed about this in a previous video. You may check it out if you want. Okay, so the only organelles found in a plant cell are, as per AS level, I'm not going to get into more detail as they're starch, stores and all that stuff, small things here, but then again not part of the AS course. Your cell wall, your large central vacuole, and your chloroplast. Now they may be familiar to you, especially if you've done O levels in IGCSE. However, in AS levels, expect some more detail, like a bit detail about their structure. Nothing much about your vacuole and your cell wall, but there's quite a lot of things to understand about your chloroplast. So without further ado, let's get on to that. Okay guys, before I move on, I just want to show you, in front of you must be a picture, a very simplified, well not simplified, a generalized, would be the perfect word to use, a generalized diagram of your plant cell that shows the structures that you would expect to be found typically in a plant cell. Now it's basically the same as the animal cell with just a few extra features, and the only difference is that your plant cell is more regular and rectangular, okay? So let's have a look at them one by one, but let's leave out cell wall, chloroplast, and your vacuole because we're gonna look at them anyways, okay? So I'm gonna grab my highlighter and we can get started. Okay, so guys, this is the cell membrane. Sorry, not the highlighter. Yeah, here we go. Purple would seem perfect here. This is your cell membrane. Now you can see that your cell membrane, just have a look at the cell membrane right here. This here is the cell membrane. The innermost layer, in the animal cell it would be the outermost layer, but this is the innermost layer, okay? I'm going to speed things up now so that we can cover many things and quickly, okay? Right, this is your Golgi Apparatus. This whole, you can see here, remember, it's usually near the Endoplasmic Reticulum and the nucleus, okay. Okay, leaving out vacuole, chloroplast. Okay, guys, I'm going to underline those organelles that is a part of the AS level courses. There are a number of organelles that are not needed as per the AS level course. so ignore them. I chose this picture because it represented what I wanted it to represent beautifully. Now this is the mitochondria, guys. Mitochondria, powerhouse of the cell, where respiration occurs, where energy is made in the form of ATP. This region between the cell membrane and the vacuole, or the region between the cell membrane and the nuclear membrane, is your cytoplasm, the jelly-like substance or aqueous water solution. Here you go. Okay, you don't need to know this. You will not need it, at least for now. And here we go. This is your rough endoplasmic reticulum, the one in which your ribosomes are attached. Here we go, the one in which the dots are covered, and the key to understand about the endoplasmic reticulum is that they're always found near the nucleus. Remember this will help you in your paper too, trust me. And the smooth endoplasmic reticulum are usually found beside the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Here you go, in which there are no ribosomes. Remember that, it's very, very important. Here you go, you can see they're smooth and they're clear. And yeah, that's about it. And you got your Golgi vesicles, which we have also discussed in one of the previous videos, are made from your Golgi body. They're released by the Golgi body here. Here you go, your Golgi vesicles. And last but not least, your ribosomes. Now ribosomes are found either freely within the cytoplasm, as you can see here, or they're found on the rough endoplasmic reticulum, as you can see here. And they're made by the nucleolus, which is right here, which is found within the nucleus. And yeah, so here we go. And this is your nucleus. Last but not least, now it's last but not least, this is your nucleus. The overall organelle is the nucleus, in which there's nucleoplasm and then the nuclear envelope surrounding the nucleus because it has a double membrane. Okay, I'm gonna just quickly cross out the parts of this particular cell that are not needed. You don't need to know this. You don't need to know this either, and nor do you need to know this. The rest, however, the three ones that we're going to discuss now, need to be known. Okay? Okay. Okay, continuing. So let's talk about your chloroplast. This is where most of the detail will come. So chloroplast, as you know from your previous knowledge, is where the process called photosynthesis occurs, right? A process in which carbon dioxide from the air, water from the soil, and light energy from the sun combine to form food, or known as a carbohydrate. Glucose plus oxygen, the oxygen needed for us to stay alive, the oxygen that helps us to respire, to produce energy from our carbohydrates, right? Without oxygen, we'd be dead. Can be easily seen with an electron microscope. Okay, the type of microscope which we're going to discuss in the next video. Just like the nucleus and just like the mitochondria, this particular organelle also has two membranes. So an outer membrane and an inner membrane, which is called an envelope. Whenever there are two membranes, you refer to that as an envelope. So that's what we call the membrane of the nucleus, the nuclear envelope, and mitochondrial envelope, and we can refer to this as the chloroplast envelope. Okay. Okay. Let's first discuss the structure of the chloroplast, which is right on your screen. So let's talk about the inner and the outer membrane first. Okay. Okay. Right. This is the outer membrane. Sorry. Let me just grab the highlighter. Okay. This here is your outer membrane. You can see that the one outside, right? That's what it implies when I say outer membrane. If you want to talk about the inner one, this is your inner membrane, the one inside the outer membrane. You can see here just the inner part. Just look at this. This is the outer and this is the inner. This inner part is your inner membrane. Okay. One other key important thing to understand here that always comes in your MCQs, right? All the time, even in paper 2. Just like the mitochondria, this guy here has its own protein making factory, ATS ribosomes, and also has a free naked circular DNA. When I say naked, what I mean is that it's not in the nucleus, it's naked, as in just freely lying in the stroma region. And due to having its own DNA, it can self-divide or perform cell division, just like the mitochondria. Now let's understand this. Let's understand stroma, right? So the stroma is basically a region in the chloroplast, as you can see here. So it is a region, right? Just like the cytoplasm of a cell, the stroma is like the cytoplasm of the chloroplast between the outer membrane and, well, the thylakoid, that's how you can say it. It's the space here. I'm just going to highlight the space to give you a better standing with yellow. So this space here is your stroma, right? Just like the cytoplasm is the space of your cell. This also contains a solution, right? Ions and minerals and all the stuff. Even starch grains are present in here, and same like the matrix of the mitochondria. But these two organelles are very similar. Okay. Photosynthesis occurs in the chlorophyll, as we all know. It occurs in the chlorophyll. Why chlorophyll? Because it is the chlorophyll that absorbs light energy. The green pigment found in the thylakoids that traps light energy. Okay. Alright, so let's just understand something. This is your thylakoid. Okay. So this individual circle, let me just draw it out for you. This one individual circle separately is called your thylakoid. And these each circles, like this is another circle, this is the second one, and this is the third one, and then this is the fourth one. It goes on and on. These individual, like separately contain your chlorophyll. Okay, they separately contain the chlorophyll, and photosynthesis occurs in each one of them, like this in here separately. And suppose you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 thylakoids, 10 chlorophyll. Okay, as simple as that. But when you like stack these thylakoids together, like put one on top of another, like how you would stack some coins, like this is a coin right here, you're stacking up one on top of each other. This whole stack all together is referred to as your granum, right? And that's why they have made it to show the overall structure of your thylakoid, the granum. Okay. And you don't need to know the limita for this. It's not needed as part of the AS course, but if you want to know for extra knowledge, it just connects different granums together. Like it's connecting this one, it's connecting this one, like this tube here. That's it. Simple as that. Okay. Photosynthesis, okay, is composed of the dark reaction and the light reaction. Okay, before we move on any further, there's another detail I forgot to tell you guys. Just like the mitochondria, the space between the outer membrane and the inner membrane is referred as the intermembrane space, right? Here you go, this is the intermembrane space, the space between the inner membrane and the outer membrane. Simple as that, nothing more complex or anything. Okay, so light reaction and dark reaction. Now, just from understanding these terms, light means occurs in the presence of light and dark means without light. Light reaction is also called light dependent reaction because it needs light, right? Dark reaction is also called independent light reaction, which means it's independent, it's not dependent on light, it doesn't need light. So here's your chemical equation for photosynthesis, in which carbon dioxide reacts with water, carbon dioxide which came from the air, and water which came from the soil. From the sun's energy with the help of chlorophyll is converted into food, sugar, carbohydrate / glucose, and the oxygen that we breathe. Oxygen is a byproduct, guys. When I say a byproduct, it's a waste for the plant, right? Somewhat a waste, although it also needs oxygen, but as per the process, for the process of photosynthesis, it's a waste and it's useful for other living organisms. Okay, so in the light reaction, this here occurs in the thylakoids, in one of those coin-like structures in which chlorophyll is present. It makes sense. Chlorophyll is needed to absorb light, so this is a light reaction. It should occur in the thylakoid. So this is where light energy breaks down. So the light energy is absorbed, and you see this water here. This water is broken down first, separately into hydrogen and oxygen. This is bond breaking. All right, bond breaking and endothermic reaction. So the water molecule is separated into hydrogen and oxygen. Both become separated. They're no longer a compound. It's into its individual elements. Now the oxygen is released. The oxygen is released, as you can see here, through the stomata of the leaves, so that we can breathe, stuff like that. And then comes the dark reaction. The dark reaction occurs in the stroma. Just to remind you what the stroma is, this space here, remember, stroma and the thylakoids, which contains the chlorophyll. Okay, so occurs in the stroma, and this time the hydrogen plus the carbon dioxide that is still left here, it needs to be used for something, combines to form glucose, which is right here, the sugar stored in the leaves. Now this is just extra. When it is needed to be used by the plant, it's converted into a transport sugar called sucrose, right? And it is transported in the phloem vessels, and when it is not needed, it is stored as starch in the stroma region of the chloroplast. It can be stored in other regions as well, like in the roots as well, like depending on the type of plant. Okay, so let us come back to this diagram and look for our chloroplast. Here we go. This is your okay, 1 second. Yeah, this is your chloroplast, and you can see that the granum and thylakoids are all visible here, right? And just note how big they are. Okay, now we're going to talk about the cell wall. This is very small, and no need to spend too much time studying the details of this. So, in fact, they don't teach you at all, but I'm still teaching you guys, okay? Cell wall is the outermost layer of the plant cell that protects the cell and maintains its regular rectangular shape. It's hard, it's strong, it's rigid, it's flexible because it's made from cellulose, because cellulose itself is very hard, rigid, and flexible. And when water enters the cell through osmosis, it prevents the cell from bursting, right? Because it's inelastic. Coming to the vacuole. The vacuole is permanent, always permanent in a plant cell, and is found in the middle of the cell. So it contains a type of liquid called cell sap. Okay, so just remember the name of the liquid. Cell sap. That yeah. So the cell sap contains basically it's a solution, right? It contains dissolved ions, mineral salts, some sugar, some pigments. The pigments that are responsible for the color of the plant, like rose, they are red because the red pigment is found in the vacuole of that rose flower. Also contains some organic molecules, may contain carbon dioxide and oxygen as well, some waste products, etc. Animal cells have vacuoles. Okay, don't get confused. Animal cells also have a vacuole, but they're temporary. Plant cells have a vacuole that is permanent. Animal cells have a temporary vacuole, but just consider them not to have it. If you want an example, phagocytic vacuoles are temporary vacuoles found in animal cells, which we're going to study further in chapter 4 of cell membranes and transport. Okay, so just to finish this chapter, this topic real quick, let's look for the cell wall. Here we go. Here's the cell wall. You can see very clearly that this is the outermost membrane. This is the innermost membrane, outermost membrane. Note how thick the cell wall is. The cell wall is a lot thicker than the cell membrane, right? I'll just show you what I mean by this. Here is the thickness. See how thick it is, and look how thin this is. So remember this point as well. Really extra point, a good point that I'm telling you. Remember these points that I'm telling you are gold. They're bound to help you in your MCQs, right? Okay, and yeah, here you go. This is your large central vacuole right here. The cell sap is present in between. Just ignore these structures here. They're not a part of the course, so ignore and ignore. And just do it with a red pen so that you don't get confused. Ignore, ignore, ignore. Right? Don't focus on them. Yes, one thing I forgot to tell you about. So the vacuole is big. In the central is made up of a membrane. It's a single membrane, not a double membrane, and that membrane is called the tonoplast. Write it down somewhere. Tonoplast, or called the vacuolar membrane. Let's do it with the black so that this is very important. Okay, I forgot about this. So here is the vacuolar membrane, or the tonoplast, which is semi-permeable, selectively permeable, or partially permeable, which controls the entry and exit of substances into and out of the vacuole. Like some ions or sugars, sometimes they may be needed in the cytoplasm, so yeah, come out of the vacuole, or they may go in the vacuole for storage. Like the sugars that are not needed may go inside the vacuole and be stored. Okay guys, that is it. We are done. We are 110% done with the very first topic, which is your cells part 1. We have discussed all the organelles. You can attempt past papers. I'll be making videos on past papers, so don't worry about that. Yes, so microscopy is left. I'll make videos on microscopy next week, right, along with some O-levels and IGCSE videos, because we're still there's still some topics left, right? So yeah, I'll make those videos, and past paper videos are on their way, and be ready to study microscopy now so that we can move on with chapter 2, which is biological molecules. If you're watching this on Facebook, like and follow and react and comment to my videos. And if you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and leave a comment down below. And if there are any requests, just leave it down in the comment below and I'll fulfill this request, right? And do share this around. Don't forget to share this around with your friends and families and colleagues and whoever you can think of, because I'm making free quality education on biology, O levels, IGCSE, AS level and A2 level. Now it may take a bit time for me to make these videos because they are very detailed and require a lot of effort, so I'm putting in a lot of effort for you guys. And be ready for the fact that AS level and A2 level chapters are very big, along with the fact that they have new information. They're huge, so it will take a lot of time to complete this. With that being said, that's it for today. See you next week.